All right. So we went skating over New Year's, and I fell, bumped my head. But besides that, I stretched my muscles here in my neck, and they're sore. So I'm kind of going to talk a little bit about the muscle system today. So come on over to the board, and let's check this out. All right, so our muscle system is a system that is designed to contract and relax. Contract means that it's going to get shorter, and relax means it's going to extend and get a little bit longer. All right, and this whole muscular system allows us to move around. So like I was saying, I was ice skating, I went back, smacked my head, saw stars for a second, but doing that stretched these muscles right here, so now my neck's really, really sore. And I actually went down to the nurse at school and said, "Are these tendons?" She goes, "Well," and then she says, "That's probably what happened." So now here's a cross-section or part of our skeletal system, and we're going to see if we can identify some of these muscles. So this one right here on our shoulder here, if we take a look at it, it's a tricep. And what that means, it has 3 parts that attach the muscle to the bone. Tricep, 3 parts, all right? There's 2 that attach up on the shoulder here, and then 1 that comes down on the forearm, all right? Our heart is one of our most muscles, and they haven't really figured out how that beats for as much and as long as it does. You figure it's beating before you're born, and it goes until you're dead, 70 beats a minute, upwards about 1 billion beats in your lifetime, all right? Here we have the biceps, that's on the front of your muscle right here, and the triceps more this muscle on the back of your arm. And then here we have your abdominal muscles, which give you that 6-pack right across here. That's like your core. So you want to always exercise like you're going to do exercising for a sport. This is a muscle group that you can exercise every day. Sit-ups, crunches, twists, thrusts, things like that, that builds those muscles up. All right? So now when we look at our muscles and the muscle systems that we have, there's about 600 muscles in our body, all right? They're classified into 2 main classifications. The first one are voluntary muscles, and these are muscles that you can actually control. You think about moving them, and they do what they want you to do. You write your name, you jump up and down, the biceps, quads, the calf muscles, all the muscles that let you play an instrument, type on a keyboard, all of those are voluntary muscles. Even me talking is a voluntary muscle. Chewing your food, voluntary muscle, all right? So those are all, that's one classification. The next one are involuntary muscles. Involuntary means that you have no control over them. They're going to do their job all the time, all right? So if you think about your heart, you can't stop your heart from beating. I did a little research about it. There's the biathlons that do the cross-country skiing in the wintertime, and they carry a rifle on their back, then they stop and they take and they shoot at targets. Those guys have trained to do that where their heart's beating like 160 beats a minute. When they take that shot, they can almost stop their heartbeat. And it's amazing because you see it, and it's not that it stops, but they like control breathing that it slows down for a very, very short time. All right, our lungs and our pupil. And the pupil is the actual opening in your eyeball. And this is very important, like if you ever, like when I bonked my head ice skating, if they would have shined a light in my eye and looked at the different pupils, if one closed a little faster than the other, I have no control over how fast those close. But that would tell the doctor whether or not I actually had brain injury or something like that. And it was just a little knot in my head though. All right? So I can't control my involuntary muscles. Now, when we look at our muscles also, they're classified into 3 main groups of muscles, all right? The first one are skeletal muscles. These are ones, and they're called striated. That means that when you look at a striated or a skeletal muscle under the microscope, it actually has bands in there, and hence the name of striped, okay? These ones, because they're skeletal muscles, they connect to our skeleton and allow us to move. So every muscle that connects to our bones that makes us move is a skeletal or striated muscle. The next one is our cardiac muscle, and the cardiac muscle is only found in the heart. Now, one thing I always like to point out with my students is your blood is never blue, all right? They use blue or they use a purple color to indicate that it's low in oxygen and that it's high in carbon dioxide, but your blood is never blue, all right? And even at the college level in textbooks for doctors, they use that indication, but your blood is never blue. But cardiac muscle is striated, which is similar to the skeletal muscles, which means under a cross-section, when you look at it, has stripes in it, all right? It's in your heart only. That's the only place you're going to find cardiac muscle. It's an involuntary muscle. That means you cannot control its beating. All right, it will beat and beat and beat unless something bad happens. You have a heart attack, lose blood flow to it, or die, and then your heart stops beating. So that's the thing. Now, your heart beats about 72 beats a minute. If you're exercising, you might get it up about 160, 170. When you sleep, it might slow down to about 56, all right? But it's going to beat all your whole life, and it's upwards into the billions of heartbeats, which is an amazing feat for a muscle that goes and goes and goes and goes, like to energize your body and your body. All right, the last type of muscle is smooth muscles, all right? These are involuntary muscles, which means you have no control over what they do, all right? They're found in your intestines in your body, your bladder, blood vessels, and other internal organs, all right? Because they're involuntary, they're designed or they evolved for very slow, long contractions. So think about once you swallow your food, your food goes down in your stomach, the muscles in your stomach are involuntary. They're going to roll and contract to roll your food around to expose it to the acid so it helps digest more. Then it's going to enter in your intestines. Now your intestines for a human, if you take your thumb, that's about how big your small intestine is, and it goes 21 feet away from you. That's how long that intestine is coiled up inside of you, all right? Now, it's involuntary. So once the food gets in there, there's a squeezing muscle called peristalsis that pushes the food through your intestines, which exposes it to all the little villi in there, projections inside your intestine that will let it absorb the nutrients that go into your blood system and allows you to do all of the cool things that you do. All right, so now those are the three muscles that we have in our body. And again, you want to make sure that you take care of your muscles. So you want to stretch them, make sure that if you're doing a sport, you want to engage in stretching that you do in the sport. And they're finding out that this is very important, especially now if you're playing a sport, you want to do a couple different kinds of sports so you don't get repetitive strain injuries where you're straining the muscles and joints in that same area over and over and over. So I hope that helps you guys out. Thanks for watching.